because he doesn't have hair on his head, so you drag him by his baby. Drag him by his baby when you come into the locker room today. And the numbers to drag him on.
Get them coming to the number WhatsApp 0809 444 0981. There's also you can search us out on YouTube. We are youtube.com/smooth981 FM Lagos. That's YouTube. Then you can also be sure to follow us up on Facebook, facebook.com/smooth981. On platform X, you can get us at smooth981 FM Tega. We are here.
We are here. Okay, so let's start with Femi's message because Femi came in early. Femi said, someone said Chelsea spent 1 billion just to be another reggae Huddersfield. Femi, it's too early in the morning. Right. It's too early. And then Emeka says, please, Tega should apologize to us now because she predicted Man U win. Tega, do join Arsenal and be happier. For what? Because you managed to beat Manchester United. Anybody can beat Manchester United. All right, on that note, let's go to the very first story. No need for headlines. All right,
let's go. Peseiro signs contract extension to continue as Super Eagles coach. Jose Peseiro will continue as a Nigerian coach despite agreeing to a pay cut. The Nigerian Football Federation NFF announced on Sunday.
All right, so this is what I tell people when they start arguing. Oh, why do you do this? Why do you do that? I'm like, look, on a normal day, these guys, with all due respect, I have to put that in before I say what I want to say. With all due respect to these guys that come to coach in Nigeria, they know all the problems, but there is a reason they keep coming here. One of the reasons is they cannot get these jobs anywhere else. And so Jose Peseiro is taking a pay cut just to stay with the Super Eagles. It's not out of loyalty to the Super Eagles. It's not out of patriotism to the Super Eagles. It's not even from Nigeria. The Super Eagles is a good job on his CV at the end of the day. So I think he was paid $70,000 before. Now he's going to be paid $50,000. And he signed it. And he has agreed to stay. So this international break, the matches we're playing, Jose Peseiro is still going to be in charge. So let's see how that works out. The team list is already out. He finally invited Boniface and Gift Urban. So if the prices allow, we'll go to you and see them.
So that's ultimate and principle right now.
Yes.
Okay, that's up on the bill.
We'll go to you and see them. But yes, Jose Peseiro has taken the pay cut to stay in with the NFF, and hopefully we will not hear that they're still owing him several months in salary.
70K, 50K. So you said that much last week. You said it wasn't that first contract is gone.
It's gone.
It's a new one.
It's a new one. A new one. Can you collect this money? He said yes. He has collected the money.
Okay, that looks like a fine place to drift away to the tennis court, the U.S. Open, as holder Swiatek upset by Ostapenko at U.S. Open as Djokovic cruises.
All right, so I would say this. Let's start with Novak Djokovic first. He came up against a wild card who's had a fantastic US Open. I didn't even think that the wild card was going to get any games, but he managed in the second set to push Novak Djokovic to 7-5. It was a straight set victory for Novak Djokovic, but it was not as easy as I thought it was going to be. On the men's side, surprisingly this year, a lot of seeds had dropped, so it wasn't. It was interesting to see how it pans out. Now, a lot of seats have dropped, but the two main guys that everybody expects to win this, with the outlier of Medvedev, are still very much in it. Carlos Alcaraz still in contention, Novak Djokovic still in contention, and Daniel Medvedev. Barring that, anybody can come and anybody can go. It's like barracks.
Soldier remain.
Soldier come, soldier go, but barracks remain. But with the women's side, it's been interesting. Some of the big names haven't fallen out like a lot of people would think they'll fall out. But the biggest one is this Jelena Ostapenko Iga Swiatek match. Now, a lot of people say it's an upset. It is not. Don't look at the rankings. Iga Swiatek has met Ostapenko 4 times. She has lost all 4 times. Ostapenko is the kind of player that Iga Swiatek hates to play. Think Elena Rybakina. So Iga Swiatek, she has variety. All right, she has great court movement. She has great positioning. She doesn't have as much big shots as everybody else. What she does is she prepares and anticipates, and it hits the ball early into the corners, and she gets you off your rhythm and your game, and she wins. So she struggles against players like Ostapenko and Rybakina. Now those girls are deceitfully slow. As in, they look slow, but they are not. So they have great action, they have great court coverage, and they have the biggest forehands and some of the biggest serves in the game. So what they do is when Swiatek serves, they they are very quick to respond. So if you hit the ball on the rise and if you hit the ball quickly and aggressively, you have thrown Iga Swiatek off her game. So by the time she's balanced from her service game, you've already whipped in the forehand. She's out of position. She can't respond, and that's where she struggles with big hitters that not just are not just big hitters, but hit on the rise, hit the ball very quickly, and play against her very aggressively. So rush her, basically. Don't give her time on the ball. If she has time, she's going to defeat you. What they do is they rush her, and that's what Coco Gauff did to her. And she'd beaten Coco Gauff 7 times. Coco Gauff was like, this girl. And so Coco Gauff has started playing a little better aggressively. She's not just attacking the ball, but she's attacking the timing, and that's how she was able to beat Swiatek. Same thing with Pegula. When Pegula beat Swiatek, she didn't give Swiatek time on the ball. And so once you take time off the ball, she will respond, and that's why she struggles against players like Rybakina, who take the ball very quickly, and Ostapenko, who take the ball very quickly. So what Iga Swiatek is going to have to do is rejig her game, because what it is that she's been found out. That's number one. Number two, she has to work on her serves. Those serves are horrible. I don't think an amateur should serve the way Iga Swiatek serves. So she needs to work on that. On that note, she has lost the world number one ranking, and Arina Sabalenka is now the world number one ranked player.
Sabalenka is still in contention.
She's still in contention. But you know how tennis ranking is. You don't just win points, you defend points. So Iga Swiatek from last year won the US Open, which meant I think she got 1,800 points or 2,000 points last year. She got 2,000 points last year. And so for her not to be able to defend that point, the 2,000 points were taken from her, and she was given what she earned this year. Okay. That's why she lose. Yeah, that's how it works. That's why she's lost the ranking. So tough one for her.
But Tega, we can't leave the US Open without letting you touch on Coco Gauff and then Ons Jabeur.
I have touched on Coco Gauff on how she has improved her play with her aggression.
She's through also.
Yeah, she's through to the next round, but how she's improved her play. But for Ons Jabeur, there is something off. So yes, there's a bug going on in the US now. A lot of people coughing and sneezing. Even in the press room, they're talking about something going around. Some people were saying, "Oh, with this one that they said the COVID is coming back, is this it?" It doesn't look like it. It just looks like an aggressive form of flu. Yeah. Where a lot of people have been catching it, and a lot of people have been struggling from it. And Ons Jabeur, she was struggling from it from her very first match, but they had said she was feeling better. However, she still came to her next match looking flushed, looking a bit flushed. I know what I'm thinking, and before you call me womb watcher, I'm just saying that, she looks flushed and she's living with her husband. So you understand.
If I say these things now, somebody out there will come for me, because if I say it doesn't hide, they will now say
no, it doesn't hide. But I'm just saying she looks a little flushed. It looks a little more than flu. But that may just be me being eager to be an auntie. That may just be me. But she has struggled through, but she somehow managed to fight her way through. So she hasn't had any easy matches. Yeah. Not necessarily because of the opposition, but because she struggled with that bug, whatever the bug is. So let's see how we work out for her.
So that takes us to the circuit right now. Max Verstappen creates more history, but Ferrari, the story at Monza.
All right. So yes, this weekend at Monza, it was the Tifosi and Ferrari just pushing on. And all through the weekend, Carlos Sainz had come out. He won FP2, he won FP3. He was fastest in You don't win FP2. He's fastest in free practice 2, and he's fastest in free practice 3. So of course we're expecting that that the Ferrari was going to try and continue that during qualifying. And during qualifying, they did bring it on. First of all, it was Charles Leclerc that took provisional pole, and just when he thought he was safe, Max Verstappen came and took provisional pole, and Carlos Sainz was like, thank you, too, and came in, and then he eventually took pole in the weekend. But you knew that qualifying pace, the qualifying pace over one lap is different from race pace over the 52 laps that they're going to race. And Verstappen and Red Bull are the fastest car on track race day every day of the week. And so the race started. The good news, I think, for Carlos Sainz was that he was able to lead for 13 laps. Because I expected Max Verstappen to jump him from the get-go, but he did manage to lead for 13 laps. Eventually, Max Verstappen found his way around him and overtook him and won his 10th consecutive race. The first F1 driver to do that. Which brings me back to my point. So, in the years of Mercedes dominating, Lewis Hamilton never won 10 races in a row. Never. In the years of Red Bull dominating, Sebastian Vettel won 9 races in a row. Max Verstappen has gone on to win 10. I know he's going to go and win 11. In fact, this year, I don't see, barring reliability issues or somebody crashing into those two cars, I don't see how anybody is going to stop Red Bull from winning, from ending this season without winning all the races. So interesting one there, but it was the story of Ferrari. They've always had either reliability issues or strategy issues. Something was always wrong with Ferrari. But yesterday, everything on pace worked with them. And at some point, they almost bungled it when when Sainz and Charles Leclerc were battling each other, and then they came this close. Like Charles Leclerc came this close to crashing into Sainz, and that would have taken both of them out of the race and both of them out of the points. Yeah. But fortunately, sanity came back. It was the last lap of the race. They were able to complete it, and both of them won points, and Carlos Sainz finished on the podium. So great one for Ferrari, great one for the Tifosi. Well, boring by F1.
All right. So yeah, the only down place I have in all of that event is I don't know if these guys who run race around the circuits, they tend to waste, or no, they are conserving water and wasting the champagne. I mean, why bait with it when you can drink it? But I'm just saying, the traffic.
You can't drink and drive. We're going on a break.
All right. Oh no!
You cannot drive.
Yes. Let's go.
When we come back, don't just read the stories, don't read the headlines.
Okay.
So just go straight to the first paragraph of the stories, right, and then first paragraph only, and then we'll take it because the messages are a lot.
Okay.
Also ill this weekend. Couldn't do anything. Not hair, not nails. Even this question, it wasn't enough.
Always with you. Pack your bags and get ready for a summer like never before.
No.
Because your Polaris Visa card guarantees you
Your customer doesn't show up.
Enjoy incredible offers on hotel bookings, restaurants.
Okay, so what? Oh yeah, so just what? No, let's talk about the message. Do that manual story quickly, and then we'll come back to the message.
Visit PolarisBankLimited.com/Visa today. Get your Visa card from your nearest Polaris Bank.
Anytime when they around, if they want show in power, 3 in 1 day to knock them power. Ibuka, pay for body, pay from fever. Any kind when they bow for Ibuka. That's why I carry you always. Ibuka power, then I will Ibuka, they buy me always. Ibuka, they for you always. Ibuka, they buy me always. Ibuka, they for you always. When don't get anywhere.
Ibuka will stand together with you always as you pursue your dreams to make life better, and it go better after 3 days if body no tranga. Go see doctor out. Now Shalina Healthcare Limited them market am. Ibuka always with you.
What does future forward banking mean to you? Speed, innovation, convenience, lifestyle goals, or just simply getting service that is designed just for you? Yeah, we thought you might like all of that and more. That is why we specially created Providus Bank for you to take care of your daily experiences. At Providus Bank, we believe that banking should be all about you and your business and how to get you to the next level. If you do not already have a Providus bank account, please speak with our business concierge on 0700 77 684 387 or email businessconcierge@providusbank.com to switch to a future forward banking experience. Providus Bank. Future forward banking.
This is sweet breakfast on your dial, just the way you like it. Satisfaction guaranteed.
You're still inside the locker room on Smooth 98.1 FM. It's gone exactly 26 minutes before we hit the 9 o'clock mark, and it's still Tega here with me, Tega Onojiafe. And straight on now, it is said that rice and stew was served in good measure at the Emirates on Sunday. But then, let's get into the story. Declan Rice scored his first goal for Arsenal, and Gabriel Jesus added the icing on the cake as Arsenal rolled back from a goal down to beat Manchester United 3-1 at the Emirates on Sunday. Tega.
All right, huge one for Arsenal, huge win. This is mental emancipation because Arsenal, as usual, Arsenal squaring up against Manchester United, always very interesting. Somehow tends to land in the favor of Manchester United, but this time was very different. But it didn't look like that at the start because Arsenal were dominating possession. They were creating chances on one end, and then the ball falls to Manchester United, and their first shot on target, Rashford buries in the back of the net. So it looked like the story was going to repeat itself. But just a few seconds later, well within the same minute, Odegaard goes back to equalize and puts the game back at par. But this was an interesting one for Arsenal because both teams, had moments where they could have doubled their lead. In fact, Manchester United put the ball in the back of the net, and I am still questioning how that was offside. Must have been his aura that was offside, because even the line that they drew, I'm not sure it was straight or concave. And he scored that goal in the 87th minute or 88th minute, whichever way you like to count the clock. And sometimes that kind of goal can be deflating. So I think if that goal had stood, and Arsenal may at best have gotten an equalizer, I'm not sure that they could have come out with this drastic winner. So everything happened in a couple of minutes towards the end of the match. An offside goal was cancelled in the 88th minute. Arsenal goes and scores in the 92nd minute, and then scores the third goal by Gabriel Jesus to just cancel it out. But it wasn't a bad game until the last 60 minutes of that game. And ask me what changed.
What changed?
Manchester United in those minutes were defending with Harry Maguire. Hold on.
Okay.
And Evans.
Okay.
And it was, you see that highlight when they're going to show it every time, Evans will just be covering his face because
who was the guy who's
that's the guy.
frustrated straight up?
That's the Evans guy.
Okay.
You cannot show the goal without showing Evans frustrating. He was bowing to Jesus as a good Christian. But it was, so I would say this with all the stick that we are going to give Manchester United today, we have to remember that at some point Manchester United could have either gotten away they could have gotten away with a point at this game. All right, so let's take your thoughts on the Manchester United Arsenal game. I didn't talk much about it because I was hoping that people will break it down to me. So let's start from the very first message.
Someone says, from Peter, I'm here for the dragging for Manchester United.
Exactly.
He's waiting. Mayowa Shadari from Marina says, good morning, Tega. A wonderful weekend for sports. We exercised the Red Devils with jollof rice on Sunday, and Jesus sealed it with an exclamation mark. That's what Eric Ten Hag tried to deflect by throwing Sancho under the bus. The reggae boys from West London can't buy consistency even for £1 billion. Mayowa from Ikeja.
All right.
Emeka Onelum goes on and says, Pochettino is a very funny coach. Here you are looking for an equalizing goal, and he's bringing in Ukrainian Justin Bieber, aka Modric, and that's a very poor form. As for the United game, what a match. That third goal by Jesus was just sublime. He made the Lord lie down in green pastures before it ended.
Okay, and this is from Cruz. Cruz says, Tega, nobody can tell me anything. Someone has pressed spoil on Perez's side of the garage. The two cars are not the same. kind of bull. I agree. I would say this. Let me not say the press ball, but the car was made for Max Verstappen. And then whoever enters has to find a way to adjust. This is from Adeni. He says Jesus sent the Lord to Damascus. That was Evans. Wasn't that Evans? It can only be Jesus. He maketh him lie down in green pastures. This is Nii. And Tayo says, what is Sabbath without Jesus and some rice? Luckily, Onana can testify to receiving both, with Jesus causing the Lord to lie down flat in green pastures, or was he sending him to Damascus before scoring? Kai Havertz doesn't disappoint in big games with the disappointment. With the freebies, he couldn't put it in the back of the net. And this one, Mehdi says, good morning, Tega. Did you say the first shot on target? It was actually the first touch in Arsenal's box. It was a good game. Gamacho was off by his shoulder. Tega, what's happening to Chelsea? We're going to talk about that. And let's go to YouTube now. We have some messages from Ademafe. He says, I look at Chelsea's squad, I remember the song. After the reggae, play the blues. The blues, the blues. And then B says, Tega, apologize to Arsenal fans. You predicted the Manchester United win. Why should I apologize? It's a prediction. He says Arsenal always lets Rashford to score so that when they can copy his celebration when they cancel out his goals. Because people won this time, your mouth is sharp. All right, so let's go to the very next story.
Next, Jadon Sancho says he has been a scapegoat for a long time after Manchester United boss Eric Ten Hag said he was dropped for Sunday's game at Arsenal because of poor training performance.
All right, so I'll say this. So Eric Ten Hag was asked after the match that why didn't he bring Jadon Sancho? Is there an injury? You know, they really want to know what the situation is. And Ten Hag says that, you know, there's a level you have to aspire to even make the team list. I'm wondering if Maguire has aspired to that level. But he said there's a level that they have to aspire to before he makes the team list. And Sancho, I'm sure where he had had it. And he put out a post saying, you know, he's tired of being, don't believe everything you read. He's tired of being the scapegoat, that he did very well in practice. And that he thinks there are other reasons they are dropping him. First of all, I'll say this, Sancho. There's no reason why you should write the exam and mark your script. You'll be biased. So you can't tell yourself that you performed well in practice. But I understand what it is. Look, I'm one of, I don't mind you calling out players who haven't put in the work. But when you make it a constant to answer questions by just throwing the players under the bus, I have a problem with it. So as much as Eric Ten Hag wanted to say, oh, maybe he could have spoken around the issue, as opposed to just categorically saying that a professional footballer was not up to scratch.
Yes.
Or sometimes you're just doing more harm than good. I'm not saying you should baby these boys. Of course, they are some of the money they pay, people should use it for therapy because all this banter will come. But I think that there's a way he can couch it, because it's one too many players that he's coming to criticize in public. On the other hand, for Jadon Sancho, I've seen Jude Bellingham. He moved to Real Madrid. I've seen the magic he's doing. I've seen, you know, Erling Haaland. He moved to Manchester City. I've seen the magic he's creating. I've seen you in a Manchester United jersey. I've seen you with time on the pitch, and you stink. There is no look. As much as
you want us to call the fumigators right now.
As much as you want to criticize Eric Ten Hag's style, sometimes you also have to critique your own. Why are you not performing? The few minutes you have, why don't you do something so that they'll put you? I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't think Martial is doing any better, but hey.
You touched on Bellingham a bit here, but I think you want to expatiate more on snatching the late winner to get at home against Getafe.
Yes, 4 games, 5 goals. He scored in every single game for Real Madrid this season, and he's just delivering on the promise that they're hoping that he would bring. Real Madrid in the La Liga now on 12 points. So 4 matches, maximum points. Barcelona are on 10 because they drew that 1 match, but they managed to get that win. So far so good. Looking good for Real Madrid and Barcelona in the La Liga.
And that takes us to find out who Pochettino really is, as he wants the youthful Chelsea to learn from Forest shock.
All right, so he's saying that his team is youthful, which is one of the reasons why, you know, they are not really delivering. That maybe he's saying that the youthful exuberance is getting to them. But, you know, he has experienced players in his squad, in front and behind. And maybe some of you don't think about Raheem Sterling, but he's an experienced player. Whether you like it or not, I don't care how small he is, he looks. But he's an experienced player. In defense, you have Silva. He's also an experienced player. I think what it is the general leadership around the team, the structure of the team, because and the fact that with all their spending, they did not go out and say, let's buy a lethal striker, let's buy a striker that can hold up play, because Jackson is going to get those chances and is going to squander a lot more than he's going to score. And perhaps that's part of the problem, because if Chelsea had taken some of the chances that they created on the day, we won't be having this conversation. But that's me talking about Chelsea. A lack of leadership is not necessarily it's leadership on the whole, on the structure of the team. Everybody's new and everybody feels like they're entitled to everything, but I think they need to be able to assign roles to each other. That's number one. I think the structure is pretty poor, but I also still think it's early days for Pochettino. They have like 50 players in their dressing room. To pick an 11 out of that can be a struggle. So I still think that they need time. However, when you play games like this and you drop points in matches like this where you created so many chances, you now have to start looking at the individuals that you put on the pitch. So it's a struggle for Chelsea, but let's hear what people have to say about Chelsea and Pochettino.
All
We'll
right.
start with Mohammed here.
Now, I don't blame Ben Tenag for complaining about officiating, but blaming Sancho is bad taste. Does he want another Ronaldo? As for Poch, I said that it was a bad decision. Poch is a scam.
Ah,
If he doesn't get results soon, Chelsea fans will call him a saboteur.
wow. Edgar.
Edgar. Edgar goes on to say, I think Ten Hag should learn from definition of deadwoods and read his team of the likes of Maguire, Sancho, Martial, and some more of lukewarm
Look, player without manual. And before you know it, even let's give Pochettino some time
Okay.
and see how he delivers. On that note, we are out of time in the locker room.
Yeah.
So we have to vacate the location so that Omatseye can continue. But we want to thank you for your messages on WhatsApp.
Atsenuwa.